If you're anything like me, you've struggled with this like a lot. You have a million ideas. And with every single new idea, it's this shiny, new, and exciting thing. But there's a massive problem with this, and what I find myself doing with any new idea is really romanticizing that final idea completely done. I'm romanticizing that without really considering the not so glamorous work that it would take for me to get to that point that I'm romanticizing in my head. And honestly, I think this is one of the biggest problems with having a bunch of new and fresh ideas. You end up getting too excited about the idea itself without considering the practical next steps you should be taking to accomplish that idea in the first place. Now hear me out here. If you have a bunch of ideas, it's not a bad thing. It means you have a lot of ambition and you want to do something exciting with your life. But in this video, I want to be able to help you, number one, sift through the ideas that will be worth sinking time and resources into, and number two, quit romanticizing the ideas so much and actually see them become reality. Sounds pretty good, huh? Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Well, let's talk through my simple 5-step process for any new idea you might have. Cue the next chapter. The very first step that you want to do is simply define your passions and long-term goals. Any new or random idea that pops into your head must pass through this filter first, and this is going to be probably the biggest determinant of whether or not it's going to be worth your time and energy and money and resources. So what do you love to do every day? I can't answer that question for you, but something that'll be very helpful as you examine your long-term goals is really getting a list of like 2 to 3 kind of niches that those might fit into. So for me personally, it's the YouTube and social media category, and within that there's photography, videography, the fitness and nutrition stuff, as well as some life philosophy stuff. And then I have music production because I love to produce music, and as most of you know, I have Mood Sound Design, which is my music licensing company. If you need good music for any of your videos that's royalty free, definitely check us out. And then a third thing, which is kind of a newer thing that I've been into, is writing. And as most of you know, I started this year reading a bunch, but it's actually sparked a new ambition for me to start writing. And I currently have a few working ideas, one that I'm kind of excited about. It is a fiction novel, but we'll see if I ever do anything with that. But regardless, it's really fun to read stuff and get inspired and then write. And I found that that's just helped me overall be a better storyteller. So yeah. I tell stories, dude, cool. So those are my 3 main passions, like right now. And so every time I get a new idea, I have to run it through those filters first. And with this being the first step, what's amazing is that when you start to pursue these ideas that align with the things that you love to do, it makes all of that not so glamorous and monotonous work way more enjoyable. So step 2 requires you to organize these ideas. And when I say the word organize, don't get so bored, you know? But this is a super helpful second step. And I do something very simple. It does not require a lot of work, but I use the Notes app. And within the Notes app, you can actually create different folders. And I've simply created folders based on those passions that I've just previously defined in step 1. And so this helps me then go and take any ideas that I have and then obviously put them in the correlating folder and create new notes from there where I can really expand on the ideas. What's amazing about using the Notes app too is if you're within the Apple ecosystem, if you've got like an iPad, an iPhone, an iMac, that all syncs together. So if I'm out somewhere and let's say I get an idea for a YouTube video, I can quick put that on my phone, and then when I get back home and I want to continue to work on that YouTube idea and plan it, I can then get on my iPad or my iMac and do that, and it's all synced. It's freaking fantastic. I know some people like an actual pen and paper to write things down, and if that's your style, go for it. But so many times I have my best ideas and I do not have a pen and a paper anywhere near me. So you got a bunch of ideas, now they're organized. How do you prioritize what to work on first? So for me, my first level of priority is what is paying the bills? That comes before anything, because if I stop making money, I've got to go do something else to make money. I got to go work a regular job. But the second thing that I prioritize my ideas by is seeing if this idea is actually something I'm excited about working on. I figured out one very profound thing with this, and if I have an enormous amount of excitement excitement to work on a project or an idea, I'm going to be way more productive, way more focused on that idea, and see a better final outcome. And then beyond that, it's what else do I have time for? Sometimes I'll grab my iPad and work a little bit on a couple of book ideas, but a lot of those things that are more of just like my own ambitions, and especially if they're not bringing in any source of income, well, that's a little bit tricky. Now for you, you might be in a place where you have all these ideas, but you also work a full-time job. So none of these entrepreneurial or ambitious ideas are currently paying you any money, but ultimately you still need to prioritize those ideas by what do you think, and this is where a little bit of that business risk comes into play, but you have to examine what do I think will eventually become monetizable. Something like starting a YouTube channel and really working at building that, you can monetize that pretty quickly. Whereas if you were to go and start a brick and mortar restaurant, that would require a lot more capital investment up front. You'd have to hire staff, you'd have to do a lot of stuff, right? And so your risk threshold is going to be obviously determined by you and what kind of savings you have, but that's where you'll really want to examine these ideas and just say, okay, what has the best potential here to where I can actually start making money off this and continue to do it. So now you've defined your passions, you've got these ideas organized. The next step here is to simply be patient. Start working on these ideas, take those actionable steps that you know you need to take to achieve the end goal. And what patience is gonna do here is really separate you from that honeymoon phase of romanticizing this new, fresh idea that you're super excited about, because that novelty will wear off. So patience must become your best friend. You must be willing to just put in work with almost no yield on the work you're putting in for days and weeks and months. And that's the honest truth about anything in life, especially if you want to do something that's going to make you money and it's something that you love to do. And the other thing here is patience will help you stop romanticizing that final end goal. And this is very important because let's say one of your goals is to reach 500,000 followers on Instagram. Let's say right now you only have 8,000 Instagram followers. Well, if you're romanticizing, the day that I reach 500,000 followers on Instagram. If you're just constantly sitting dreaming of that beautiful day, and maybe you'll also have quit your job by then, guess what? Once you wake up out of that little daydream and you log into your Instagram account and it's still 8,000 followers, that makes you sad. And I'm saying this because I've done this myself. I've dreamed big and lived in those dreams and then completely had a reality check in my own life, and I was like, oh wow, I am nowhere near close to that. And it will fully squash the motivation you have to actually get to that end goal. No matter how big or small that idea is, it's so important that you finish an idea. And I think a lot of times when you don't finish more ideas, what happens is you start to get in this cycle of, I've got an idea, I'm romanticizing it, this is awesome, and that might last a week or maybe a couple days, and then you get hit with that reality check of how much work it's gonna take. Then you're like, now I'm bored with it. And so you get a new idea and you're excited about it and you work on it, and then it's a lot of work, so you kind of get bored. So do you see the cycle here that I've been in many times before, and maybe you've been in yourself? So you have to break that cycle, and the only way to do that is to finish ideas that you start. And this is the power of those small to medium ideas that help achieve those long-term big goals, is it allows you to learn what it means to finish those ideas and then move on to the next. I think that's probably one of the best pieces of advice that I could give you. Stop spinning the wheels of all of these new ideas, because you're actually not doing shit. I could look back at a few years and a few long spans of time within my life where I just kept having idea after idea and getting bored, and this whole cycle. It wasted my time, it made me lose money, it stressed me out because I didn't go through this simple process here, and I just got too sidetracked with too many little things. I do understand it's tricky because sometimes you really do think an idea is gonna work out and it doesn't. My wife and I had a podcast and we really pursued it for over a year and just ended up not working out. So obviously you have to give yourself some grace with this kind of thing, but the power of finishing ideas will hardwire that work ethic that's needed for the next task, the next kind of mountain to climb. If you're not progressively overloading that and getting better with every single finished rep, finished workout, finished YouTube video, finished Instagram post, finished song that you're producing, if you're not doing that, you're probably not not growing. Damn, that's a real talk right there. Can we still be friends? Don't be mad at me. Well, friends, there you go. That's my simple 5-step process for what to do with a million ideas. For people like you and me who have that entrepreneurial mindset and that want to build and create things themselves, it's incredibly rewarding and it can be so fun. I couldn't ask for a better life. I'm incredibly grateful for it. If you're still here and we're still hanging out, which obviously you are, hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't, and leave a comment down below. Let me know some of your ideas that you have. What are things that you're working on? What are some of your goals? I'd love to hear them. Thanks so much for watching. My goodness, you're amazing. Go crush your freaking life, and I'll see you on the next vid. Peace.